The kickoff. One of the most notorious and infuriating mechanics in the game, enough to make you throw out forfeit votes like Donald Trump on 2020 election day. However, when it goes right, it can leave you feeling like a god amongst men. Nobody can touch you. Your opponent scores a goal? Well, don't fret, you can just get one back off kickoff straight away. You are invincible. Whilst many people like to blame their weak kickoff down to their opponent's luck after they concede their 10th kickoff goal, it is by no means a game of chance. Even though it may seem like it can be a pure fluke as to which way the ball pings out after two or more cards smash into it, there is an intricate underlying method to forcing these cards to play into your hand. So, having done thousands of kickoffs, tried various methods, styles and tricks, I present to you my 6 tips to win every kickoff in Rocket League. Before the video starts, I just wanted to say that it would mean the world for you to subscribe. I spend a lot of time and effort bringing these videos to you guys, so if you haven't, it would be an amazing way to support me and the channel. I've also set up a donation site in case some of you want to help support the channel even more. It's purely optional, but I'm just leaving it there if you're interested. Also, be sure to check out my Twitter and Discord server. The links to both are in the description below. Now, back to the kickoff. If you ever find yourself going from this to this, and then back to this, then it is quite obvious that your kickoff needs a lot of work. Even if you think your kickoffs are quite solid and you rarely concede from them, there are still things that can be done to help you win even more. In game modes such as 1v1, kickoffs can be the decisive factor between a win and a loss, and in 2s and 3s, they can help set up that clutch 0-second goal. So, whether you're just beginning to learn how they work, or are well on your way to mastery, I've compiled 6 things and tips that you must do to win kickoffs. Beginning at tip number 1, and that is to make sure you are flipping towards the ball. I don't mean into the ball, because if you're doing that then you have some serious problems, but I mean as a way to gain speed whilst minimizing boost usage. If you want to do this in the most effective way, I will show you what to do for each kickoff. No matter where you are, you should always only flip once before flipping into the ball, and if you are not that confident in your ability, a simple forward flip will suffice. I'm almost champ 3 and I still forward flip from some kickoffs. However, if you're slightly more advanced, try either using a diagonal flip or a speed flip. However, I only recommend this once you reach diamond and above, as it really isn't necessary. So, from the diagonal kickoffs, you want to just tilt your car slightly towards the ball, and as soon as you run over the first pad, flip. The same goes for any of the other starting positions. As soon as you go over your first pad, straighten up and flip. If you're diagonal flipping, be sure to be wary of what side you start on. This diagram shows what corner you should flip to depending on what position you start at, so feel free to pause the video and screen clip or take a photo of it. Moving on to the second tip for the video, and that is to make sure you are managing your boost correctly, which coincides with the first tip. Let me just say this first, you never want to have 0 boost after a kickoff, and if you think you need it all, then I'm sorry but you're just wrong, and I'll show you why. Firstly, you start off with 33 boost, and depending on the position, there can be anywhere from 12 to 36 extra boosts waiting for you. So, worst case scenario, you have 45 boost to get to maximum speed, which is more than enough. In order to maximize boost efficiency, here's what you need to do. You need to use a bit of boost at the start to get your momentum going, then as soon as you begin to flip and rotate, stop boosting and let the flip make up the speed for you. This means that you don't boost for a fair distance, saving boost whilst not compromising on speed. And once you land, boost a little more, then stop and flip into the ball. This is very easy and something you all really should do. You also have to try to make sure that you path over all the pads on the way, as it could be the difference between having 0 or 12 boost after kickoff, which could ultimately win you the race to the side big pad, then once again to the ball and the goals. You guys need to understand that it is the small things like these that make all the difference, and I've seen so many people ignore them. Another thing you should do whilst on your approach to the ball, which goes under tip number 3, and that is to be watching your opponents carefully. You may have the best kickoff in the world, but if you aren't paying attention to what your opponent's doing, it will be rendered useless. You could be doing a fast kickoff, a slow kickoff, a fake kickoff, or a dead kickoff. You need to be paying attention to his car language as you approach. If he seems to be going onto one side, go in between the middle of the ball and him, and it will force it into his half. Again, if you see he's slow to the ball, do not hit the ball directly at him. Instead, hit the ball to the side, and you will find yourself winning the kickoff. It may seem obvious, but it is something a lot of people don't do, and even if you have the weaker kickoff, you can still win the majority of them if you can read what they are doing. As we cross our halfway point in the video, we move on to tip number 4, and that is faster doesn't always mean better. You may claim to know how to speed flip and get to the ball way before your opponent, and I believe you and congratulate you on mastering the mechanic. However, it is such a risky move, especially in 1v1. Regardless of whether you speed flip or not, getting there first can be many of your downfalls. This is because you essentially pass the ball to your opposition, hitting it forward only for them to dunk you after you've gone past. In higher ranks, people begin to intentionally slow kickoff to counter this. So, my advice is to mix it up, combine regular, slow and fast kickoffs to catch your opponents off guard. Now we move on to 2 tips surrounding making contact with the ball, and they can help you win kickoff even if you mess up the first 4 tips. Firstly, tip number 5 is that you need to hit the center of the ball as much as possible. As Rocket League is a physics-based game, we are going to have a quick physics lesson. This game obeys physical laws very similar to reality, hence the object with the greater force will push through the other. If you hit the center of the ball, all of your speed and force transfers directly into the ball, meaning you are more likely to win it. However, if you hit the side of the ball, only some of it is transferred, whilst the rest stays with you as you are deflected away. So, this is probably one of the simplest things you can do. Try to hit the ball's center of mass every time, bar when your opponent swerves wide, and you'll see results almost immediately. Lastly, coming on to tip number 6, I'm going to tell you how to flip correctly into the ball. This is very underrated and something that can be once again easily mastered, so pay attention. If you do this, or this, you are not flipping correctly and are pretty much rendering the previous 5 tips useless. You want to hit the ball with the nose of your car, as you normally want to in a game, as it generates the most power and transfers the most force. You also want to make sure that your nose is not too low or too high, or else it will go over or under you respectively. Aim for the dead center. You also don't want to flip straight into the ball. Try diagonal and side flipping as a means to get the ball to dish out in front of you, and it also allows you to maintain a bit of speed, so it's really a win-win. Now we're going to do something that we don't usually do, a bonus tip, and that is to turn off unlimited boost in free play. This pretty much simulates a real game without the pressure, and allows you to master the flips, pathing and contact that you need. So, as free play spawns you in kickoff positions, jump into it and start practicing. And that concludes the 6 tips to win every kickoff in Rocket League. If you are able to do all these 6 things perfectly, you realistically should not lose a kickoff. But even pros struggle to do this, so just aim for 3 or 4 at a time. As always, be sure to like and subscribe to help support the channel. It is much appreciated and gives me the viewership to keep it going. Other than that, I hope you all enjoyed it, thanks for watching, and I hope you have a splendid day. Cheers.